And we're live. Good evening, everybody. We're going to be joined by Bry remotely tonight, without video. But do you want to give us a quick update on your character right now?
Yes, I'm Bry. I play Bernadette. I'm a southern gal who makes moonshine, and I am also currently not fit to be seen or perceived. So.
All right. Travis, you are bringing something new to us tonight.
Yes, I'll be playing Theodore Oswald.
Victor's going to be laid up recovery right now, right?
Correct. He's all hurt.
Theodore's a little bit sheltered. Do you know anything else about him you want to introduce right now, or should we just try to figure him out in play?
Figure him out and play. I think that'll be the fun part.
Okay.
I kind of understand how I want to play it, but I think it'd be more organic in play.
Cool. And Terry?
So, I'm James. I'm the nerd, the brains, and the medic of the team. Along with that, I did pretty good with my shots last week.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Those poor cops, they were not expecting to lose their kneecaps that night.
Shots.
And Connor.
Hello, I am Connor Leone. I am the driver for Miss Birdie, and if it's got an engine, I can fix and run it.
I am Andrew, the keeper of arcane lore for this game. Last week in New York, your party got into a bit of a shootout with both members of a cult that has taken up residence in a small African arts store in Harlem, as well as with members of the New York City Police Force. And at the conclusion of that adventure, without having really figured out anything that's going on, you decided the best thing to do is get the hell out of town before anybody arrests you.
Mm-hmm.
So we are picking up this week with you having driven up to Massachusetts, laying low for a few days, and we will pick up with you visiting Professor Cowles, who Connor had previously spoken to on the phone, gotten a little bit of information, but he is on loan from Sydney, Australia to Miskatonic University. And he felt that there was some more information he might be able to give you in person, that it was more difficult than over the phone. So, as we open on a small office for a visiting professor at Miskatonic, Professor Cowles is going to have greeted all of you. A couple of you will be seated at this point, and the professor will be saying, Mr. Leon, speaking to you over the phone, I had the impression you were a little older. Are you a graduate student then, or?
No, I'm more of a... This is more of a calling than a job.
Interesting.
This was my understanding of, cult belief and stuff has all been independent study. And Mr. Hammer took me in because he believed what I've learned was important.
Mr. Hammer was an interesting fellow. As I said before, I feel sorry that I never got the chance to meet him when he was alive, but his books have opened up new avenues of study for me. Mr. Reed, Mr. Oswald, welcome to you as well. Are either of you studying archaeology, anthropology?
I'm following my parents' footsteps in archaeology.
Excellent.
It's been
You could
fun.
say. Theodore's there, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
What's the word I'm looking for again? Anthropology. What's anthropology?
That would be the study of people and societies.
That one. And I will refuse to elaborate on that. I was like, yeah, that one. That's the one.
All right. Well, the slide machine is a delicate instrument. I'd appreciate if you didn't. I mean, I can control that myself. So you, I told you, Mr. Leon, that I had some slides that I find very interesting. I can start with that. Did you take notes when we were having our conversation the other day? Do you have any questions about?
Yes, I did. This is more of a follow-up with one of my peers.
Mhm.
And a way for me to actually get my hands on that extra, the extra papers that you said that you could send me.
Yes, of course. Well, in that case, you'll recall that my particular focus of study was this cult of the sand bat, a sort of a bat cult that used to exist among the Aboriginal peoples of Australia, and their god, the father of all bats.
Father of all bats.
Yes, the father of all bats. Did you have a further comment, or were you just clarifying?
I was just clarifying.
Yes. It's going to very quickly become obvious that he's used to lecturing, and he's not going to get angry about getting questioned in the middle of it, but it throws him off his game.
Yeah.
Sir. So okay. So, father of all bats. Can I? Does it sound familiar to me at all?
Just from that, no. But once he gives you a bit of more description, you might be able to see if it sounds familiar.
By all means.
So he'll reintroduce the idea that they would sacrifice people. They believed in human sacrifice, that human sacrifice would prove them to be worthy to their god, at which point their god would be enticed to appear and conquer all people. Sacrifices were performed by having people run through a gauntlet of worshippers who would strike them with clubs embedded with the sharp teeth of bats. And the teeth were coated with a poison that would drive the victims mad before they died. He will, at this point, pull out the slide machine, and he will show you a set of 4 overexposed glass slides, so the picture's a little difficult to make out. But as he turns the machine on, his daughter, is going to go over and close the curtains. And up on the wall, he will show you an image of sweating men standing beside enormous blocks of stones, all pitted and eroded, but clearly dressed and formed for architectural purposes. So these are clearly worked by people. There are dim carvings on some of them. There are billows of sand everywhere. And he's going to describe, as he's showing you these images, that they were discovered by one Arthur McWhirr of Port Hedland, Australia. He says the man kept a diary in which he recorded several attacks on the party by local Aboriginal people. And interestingly, he records several deaths to victims from hundreds of small punctures, which is obviously reminiscent of the earlier bat cult. He'll tell you, I've been to this location personally, and though you can't make it out on the slides very well, there are images that seem to relate to a tale that I collected from the Arafura Sea in northern Australia, in which Sandbat, or the father of all bats, had a battle of wits with a rainbow snake, which is the aboriginal deification of water and the patron of life. Rainbow Snake succeeded in tricking and trapping Sandbat and his clan in the depths of a watery palace, from which Sandbat can only complain and is unable to return to trouble the people. And with that, you can go ahead and make a Cthulhu Mythos roll if you want to.
I was talking more occult, but I'll roll Cthulhu Mythos. Or is it, it's like 6%?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
So, Theodore has his dad's luck on rolls.
Good God.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna push that for a hard. Not push it. I'm gonna increase it to
No.
1 more.
No.
It's only 4 points, or 2 points.
Okay.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? I will.
Cool. Yeah, in that case, this idea, okay, he's talking about a big bat-winged creature being trapped in an underwater palace from which it can complain to the world but can't return. And your dad has mentioned something about this palace called Relay, where some sort of deity is imprisoned under the ocean.
That Orlay, that's where I didn't catch where this bat deity is in Africa? Australia. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I'll let him keep talking then. I won't bring this up in casual conversation because not everyone knows this stuff.
I mean, you can if you want to. He'll move on from there to talk about an Aboriginal song cycle. It mentions a place where enormous beings gathered, somewhere in the west of Australia. And it says that the gods, who were not all like men, built great sleeping walls and dug great caves. But living winds blew down the gods and overthrew them, destroying their camp. And when this happened, the way was open for the father of all bats, who came into the land and grew strong. So he's telling you that there is kind of there's a story of the father of all bats entering Australia, and then of him being sort of banished and imprisoned under the ocean. So the story has a beginning and an end. And it does strike him as strange that there are that some of the Aboriginal people making these attacks still seem to use a similar weapon to what the cultist has used, but he has no evidence of the cult still existing. He believes that it has been extinct for several centuries.
Anyone have any comments on this?
Merely just listening.
I will go ahead and make...
You said the place's name was what was it again? Relay.
Relay.
Yeah.
Relay.
It's a very bad place. It's a silly place. Let's not go there. Can I just say what it is?
I already know what it is. It's okay.
Okay.
I wanted to say it out loud, but I'm like,
I mean, you can always find out what happens.
Mm-hmm.
If I were a demon.
You.
Blah, 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 blah.
Did he mention where he was captured or what? Like, sorry, I'm.
Just a battle of wits, and that he got trapped in a underwater palace.
Yes.
Is there? I'll speak up. Like, did the underwater palace have a name?
Not that I have recorded anywhere. Not that I found.
Oh,
But it's possible that there was one at some point, or that just that the person I spoke to didn't know it. Did you know something about it?
I think I've heard something similar to that. But the place's name was like Erle or something like that.
Yes!
I don't know.
Yes, I've. That's a Polynesian legend. Have you traveled, or are you just fairly well read?
I'm well read.
Okay, well, I consider it a disturbing and disgusting tome, but have you read the Panape scriptures? Is that where you, or something similar?
Hold on. Yes, I believe I have. Would you mind enlightening my two companions? I haven't brought this up before, but I'm sure that, catch them up to speed. I'll let you take the floor.
There's not a whole lot in that book that I would care to repeat. It's, I don't know how authentic some of it is, but there are some parallels between the stories in there about some monster named Cthulhu, or it's difficult to say how it would be pronounced. I've only read it in translation. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's some relation. The Polynesian peoples traveled between islands quite a bit. There is transmittal of legends.
Intermingling of peoples.
Yes, exactly. So there are certain similarities, but the tales themselves are quite different. Rainbow Snake is pretty specific to Australia itself. But that's impressive. Not many students of your age have that sort of knowledge.
Thank you. I don't try to boast at all. I am here but to learn.
Well, I am afraid I have pretty much come to the end of my lecture. This is where, if I were in an auditorium, I would open it up to questions. But I think, have you anything else to ask? Anything else to ask?
Is there anything written about their ceremonial garbs or anything of this sort?
No, I'm afraid. I'm afraid the only thing there is a legend that leaders of the cults could take the forms of bat-winged snakes, which would allow them to steal sacrifices from across the land. But I don't know whether that indicates that they wore some sort of ceremonial animal costume, or if it is solely a legend born of fear and myth. If people were driven mad by the poison acting from the clubs, then it's possible that some of them saw a hallucination.
Were the clubs sorry, what did they use, a hallucinogen, or was it some sort of poison?
Well, it was a poison that was derived somehow from fermented bat droppings. Mr. Reed, you can feel welcome to speak up anytime you want to.
I was gonna go and ask. I'm taking it. Connor most likely asked you about any symbols they had.
Yes, there is a. Let me see. He was describing some sort of lamprey mouth symbol to me on the phone. I'm afraid that's the design, the glyph that the people worshipping the sandbat used was quite different. It was imagine a sort of circle with wings coming up from the top of it. And he'll
Okay.
I'm gonna. Haven't really used the drawing tools on here before, but let's see how that goes.
Hooray for experimentation.
Yeah.
Which I feel like during the drive, I made at least an attempt to make the drawing of the symbol that we found on Hammer's forehead.
Mm-hmm.
Just so I could also show him, like, if he knew about, or if it was like a better way to show him, like, this is what he's probably talking about when he was saying or telling you the symbol. If you've ever seen this before.
Yeah, he'll look at it. I'm afraid it's not one that I'm familiar with.
The only thing that we know about this symbol is it's from some sort of cult, and that it's normally done on the as like a that we know of at the moment. It's done on, or it's carved on their, or the forehead of the victims that they kill or sacrifice.
That is interesting. Yes, the this glyph, they would use it to mark territory, or it's said, I don't have any examples of this because again the cult died out long ago, but it said that practitioners would tattoo this on themselves. So I'm not sure that it's the it seems to be a different category of symbol altogether. If this would be, I don't want to say that it's similar to a cross, but this is something that identified practitioners as opposed to their victims.
Alright.
I will give you both the notes which I've made available in Foundry and a copy of that symbol. I'll put them up on the Trello or Miro board.
Sweet.
Yua is at this point going to say, Father, we should probably be getting to dinner. You have a busy day tomorrow.
Does she seem uncomfortable with everything, or does she just kind of want to go home or get on with the things?
Give me a psychology roll.
This is why I took psychology, I swear. Like,
so you can figure out what women want.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Psychology is good.
You get a strong impression that she wants to keep him on schedule. That she is the sole reason he gets his work done on time.
Oh, okay. I'll look to my two friends and let's say, is there anything else that we have questions about?
I think that does about most of my questions, at least on this subject. What I would like to ask, what else do you are you studying? Is it just cults or?
Yes, that's my primary focus. In fact, my professional work is focused solely on the cult of the Sandbat. I teach more broadly. Obviously, I teach the intro to anthropology courses and all that.
Of course.
And after reading some of Mr. Hammer's books, I've taken a greater interest in modern cults. It seems not the specific practices, but the mentality seems to be similar across centuries, and I feel like I could maybe get a greater insight into the mentality of these people by studying modern cults. But I could not claim to be an academic expert in anything else.
All right. And then I'll just point over to his daughter, right?
Yes.
And say, do you study anything? Or are you just making sure that he's always getting everything that he needs done?
She's going to look a little shocked. People don't ask her about her own life. She'll say, "Well, I mostly serve as my father's administrative assistant. Obviously, I have to have some expertise in the subjects as well, but I don't. Educational opportunities are a little more limited for me."
Well, it's not always bad to at least broaden one's mind. Learn stuff that you wouldn't have never thought about learning before.
Did you have something specific in mind for me to learn, Mr. Reed?
No, not really. It's always good to learn. Always keep adjusting the mind, making you're prepared for like almost everything.
Well, I can't object to that.
Into women's suffrage.
I won't lie. There's I was like, oh, I could interject here and just say like a crude pickup line, but you know what? I'm really trying to hold myself back. That's all I'm trying to say.
Saying a crude pickup line to her in this situation would be pretty. You do get the impression she was trying to feel out whether James was hitting on her or not. But
naive kid doesn't know anything really.
Yeah, that's kind of the conclusion.
But it's
she's
still
coming
smart.
To. She'll say we are going to be here in Miskatonic for another 7 months or so before returning to Sydney. If any of you have further questions, I'm sure my father would be happy to help. And
all right.
Professor Cowles will say yes, and of course, if we return to Sydney, he's going to give you his home address as well. He says, I'm impressed at your interest. If you need a recommendation, or if you want further information on your studies in the future, feel free to contact me.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind.
And seems like the interview is at an end. Are we in agreement there?
I think so.
All right. Then we will fade back, and everybody will be jammed into one small hotel room. The one that the Oswalds are sharing because Victor is going to be staying in bed mostly. And we'll assume that you've already relayed all the information you gathered from the professor.
Most likely.
Yeah. I will remind you that somebody, you can decide who, had been reading a New York newspaper and spotted the classified ad asking for Friends of Jackson Elias to contact a lawyer's office in New York.
So we're gonna do that payphone, right?
Oh yeah, we're hitting a payphone. We're not calling from an apartment or a hotel or any of that shit.
We don't trust like that.
Yeah. We don't trust no government.
Dude, who's gonna take the call? I can take the call.
Sure, go ahead. I've already made one phone call across from, New York to Massachusetts. You get to do it now.
I mean, I'm not a real friend of his. I've seen him a couple
Ooh, good
times,
point.
but
How far was my call again?
I'll take it. We're talking.
Yours would have been slightly closer. You called to Harvard, which is in
Sorry.
Boston, and Miskatonic is
Alright.
about 45 minutes north.
I can take the call.
Birdie.
no need to strain yourself, ma'am.
Yeah, Cotter can definitely do it.
All right. Do any of you want to have cautionary tales, admonishments, or requests before Connor goes off to have a conversation on his own?
Before anybody worries, we weren't there.
Your description isn't the one in the paper.
Oh, Connor's description's in the paper.
I mean,
Yeah.
mine's not in the paper. I could make the call.
I
Ooh,
thought
an Irishman making the call would be a bad idea. But next tap.
I thought it was just Birdie and Victor who were
Nope,
described.
it was
They were suspected in the murder, but Connor
I
was
was-
the one who was like talking to the police.
Yeah, I was the maniac that slammed the car into cops.
yeah, they were trying to figure out if
Okay.
you guys were connected to him. And then I wasn't there at all.
Yeah, you were hiding in the back seat.
Even though I blew off some kneecap.
So yeah,
Okay,
Terry,
so
it's
they-
a,
You would think the one with the kneecap shooting would be the one that they remember. No.
No. It's the Irish guy that defied them that they're really after.
It is clearly some sort of mob-related violence.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
Okay, so the only one of us who should be making the call is the one who doesn't have a description in the paper.
that would be Terry.
I'm just gonna say, I don't know why it matters if that has their description in the paper. If we're
It's
making
not
a phone call.
Because if somebody sees us making the phone call and recognizes us, then they can say, hey, this person was at this location.
It's fair.
All right, is it going to be James Reed making the call then?
Yeah.
The rest of us in the car right next door. Sitting very far back in our seats.
All right, then, James, you will go over to the payphone. You'll have to ask the operator to connect you to the number in New York. And when she does, a young woman will pick up and say, "Hello, the office of Carlton Ramsey. How may I help you?"
Hi, I saw a paper that said I was supposed to call if I was a friend of
Jackson Elias.
Jackson Elias.
Ah, yes. Just a moment, please. You'll hear a couple more clicks, and then a male voice will answer and say, "This is Carlton Ramsey. I understand you claim to be a friend of Jackson Elias."
Yes.
I have a question I need to ask you. And I don't know what exactly this means, but I need to ask you, who swallowed the worm?
Ooh, I'm glad his son didn't pick it up.
I'm sorry?
It's an identifying question. I need to ask you, who swallowed the worm?
Peru.
He's asking an event that happened.
Which one of us swallowed a worm?
Which one of us swallowed the grub?
Do you remember?
Terry.
Terry, do you need a lifeline?
Who was in danger of becoming a fish taco?
Fish taco.
A fish taco.
Victor?
Yeah.
Victor,
There you go.
yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
That is the name he gave me. I'm very glad to hear from you. Perhaps someday you can tell me what exactly that means. But, I was rather expecting I might see you and your friends at the funeral. But, Mr. Hammer has... I was Mr. Hammer's lawyer. And so I, first of all, have to give you my condolences for the loss. And also, though he didn't identify them by name, he left in his will a certain amount of money and instructions to a group of his friends, who he said might... Well, he was here just the other day, rather frantic and updating his will. And I'm afraid I didn't read as much into it as I should have. It's not the first time I had seen him being frantic, but this, looking back, was worse.
Yeah, we were supposed to meet him, and before we even got to meet him, we found out that he died.
It is truly tragic. But I need to ask if you would be willing to come into my office for a reading of the will. The majority of it already took place, with a lot of his estate being divided up between ex-wives and certain legal entanglements he had. But there's still a significant amount left here that he is making available for you to continue some of his work.
That was actually one of the reasons why we were going to meet him, was he had stuff that he wanted to talk to us about. Mostly, some of it being his work, some of it being actually about my own parents and where they went.
Are you Mr. Reed, then?
I am.
He was... I don't know the details. Again, he was rather frantic when he was here, but he seemed particularly apologetic to you. Anyway, he will give you an address, which is actually in Harlem as well. And he'll ask you, can you and the rest of your group make yourselves? Is there a time you can be available for an appointment to finish the reading of the will and to receive the documents I have here?
Yeah, we should be able to do some. What time is it currently today?
It's going to be. Let's assume that you're having this conversation the day after the meeting with Professor Cowles, so on Friday.
So when would that be? Like somewhere like around middle of the day, kind of.
Yeah, probably
We
right
are-
after breakfast or so.
We are currently on the run and a couple of days away.
No,
Given
it's in.
this-
You said the office was in where we're at, right? Kind
No,
of
it's in Harlem.
It's
No,
yeah,
Harlem.
it's-
Oh, right, that's back.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
New York. So, the only reason it would likely take you extra time to get back... It normally would be a few hours drive to get back to New York, but there was a bad snowstorm earlier in the week, and you had to take back roads to get up here. So, assuming that you want to get back, probably Monday or Tuesday would be the earliest you want to make an appointment. If you want to take time to discuss it
I
among
think-
yourselves, too, you can step away from the phone for a moment.
Yeah, I'll probably go and say, hold on, let me go talk to my friends quick. Figure out when we can try and get down there. And figure stuff out. I'll bring up to them everything that was being told. And ask probably around maybe Tuesday, I'm thinking. I don't know how bad the weather is going to be or the drive is. Looking at Connor.
We should be able to make it before a day or two. Because it's not that far of a drive. It's just we have to be careful not to get spotted on the drive. So, hey, give us 3 days. I'm taking this to a shop, getting it a new coat of paint. I'm stealing a couple license plates. I'm also taking a page out of Birdie's book and dyeing my hair because there's an Irishman that's wanted. So we can make it. It's just we have some things to do here first, I think, right? We still have a line of questioning here.
What threads do we have left here exactly?
The only other thing is if you want to go to the Harvard Library and talk to the librarian who knew there and make any other inquiries.
That's what it was. We were supposed to look into the book that wasn't there and ask information about what was the book that was missing, so we can possibly find it. I have a feeling it's the book that the person mentioned in the interview that talks about the underwater city. I have a gut feeling it's that, but we can go there and have that short conversation and look into things there and ask about the books that we've read. So that's why I said 3 to 5 days, and we'll be able to do the interview, and we'll give them 24 notice before we get there.
It is not a bad supposition that it's the same book. It is not the same book. The book that's missing from
Yeah.
Harvard Library is Africa's dark sects.
Ah, yes, that's the thing that's important, because that's probably the main reason why we should have gone here. So,
Okay, is that
Then I guess just what I should just tell him. We have a couple things that we have to finish up. It'll probably take us about like 3 or 5 days, and we'll call you like a day before we actually
Let's
arrive.
make it an even 4 days.
so? You want to make it Tuesday or do you want to make it Wednesday?
We'll try and shoot for Tuesday.
yeah.
Probably like evening Tuesday.
He says, "Okay. I generally don't work past 6 p.m., but if it is necessary for your schedule, I will accommodate you. Just as you said, let me know with 24 hours of notice, and I'll make myself available.
All right.
Thank you for getting in touch.
That's. Can't believe he's actually gone.
It makes perfect sense and yet feels impossible to me as well. I'll talk to you more when you're in my office, but take good care of yourself, and if you are looking into whatever he was looking into, it sounds as though it was dangerous, so please be careful."
Will do. Take care. And then I'm gonna just hang up on the phone.
Okay.
Or put it back.
So, good news, bad news?
Sounds like we got money. And more information, instructions actually. Left by Hammer in his will. Apparently before he, the day before he was going, we went to go meet him and he died, he was, at his lawyer's office frantically running around and changing up his will a little bit.
So he knew he was gonna die.
And apologized apparently to me. It hurts a lot more.
Well then. We agreed that if there's any cops in the area, we ain't going in, right?
No, hell yeah, fuck cops.
I'll go in if there's still cops around. You guys will just stay low and I'll just talk to him and try and figure things out. If I have to, I can always grab Theodore to come with me.
You're the only person that's not wanted for the crimes of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm wanted. I'm just not that wanted.
I'm talking to Terry on that,
Oh.
or James, rather. You're the only one that's not wanted for various crimes. So, if there are coppers,
That you
I'll
know
just
of.
drop you. I'll just drop you at the end of the block and come back 30 minutes later. I'll call the office just in case if it takes too long.
All right.
But before that, we have business to attend to nearby. We have to look into a book. God, I sound like a nerd.
That seems like a good time to fade over to the library. So you will drive onto the Harvard campus, find a parking space. You're going to have to ask a few students to find your way around. I don't believe any of you have been here before.
No.
But
No, but I always wanted to.
yeah, you could you could perhaps decide to take a tour of the college while you're here. Decide whether this is where you want to do your graduate work. But you can get directions to the Widener Library, and when you head inside, there is a late 30s, early 40s librarian sitting at the desk. She'll look up and give you all a pleasant nod as you come in.
Gotta remember, how do you say her name?
Miriam Atwright.
And this was the one that I talked to you before, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't know that, but it stands to reason.
Okay. Well, if this is still the same place, I will probably go and ask. Are you Miriam Atwright?
Yes, I am. How may I help you?
Yeah, you probably remember me from when I called earlier, about like a week ago. James Reed.
Mr. Reed, you were Mr. Hammer's friend, yes?
Yes.
Yes, I was so sorry to hear of his passing. What can I help you with?
Look over at the rest of the party and just go and say, well, I think some of them, and mainly point at Connor, wanted to learn a little bit more, try and see if they could find anything of interest, at least that would help with what Hammer was looking at.
Yeah, we're looking into the we're looking into the book and seeing if they have any idea of where we can get our hands on it.
Oh, yes, the book that Mr. Hammer was looking for, the Africa's Dark Sects. No, as I mentioned on the phone, I'm afraid it went missing quite mysteriously from the stacks some months before he requested it. But if you know, I'm not sure what specific information he wanted, but if you happen to know what you're looking for, I can. It may be possible to find in some of our other collections.
Do you know who checked it out last before it went missing?
Yes, I can look that up. Can I ask why you would ask for that? We tend to keep patron records secret for academic freedom.
A friend of ours, a friend of ours was looking to read it, as you know, and we don't really know what information he was seeking out of it. Maybe the person who read it last might be able to help us, find some closure with that. Maybe help finish his last book. I'm totally lying out my ass, by the way. This is out of character because, I have no idea why we're looking for this book. I just know we're looking for this book, so. I'm giving her a sob story.
So Theodore's first instinct is just make something up.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fast talk roll.
Oh yeah. I got fast talk. Fast talk. I don't have fast talk apparently.
I mean, you do. It's just that she has pretty strong principles, and she's going to say, "I'm sorry. I can perhaps contact the person who had last checked it out, and
He was just such a dear friend of ours.
yes, well, yes, I can make that. I can make that request for you then, but I don't know that they will be. I'm afraid it's going to have to be up to them whether to choose whether to make contact with you. Is there a number that I can give them to reach you at, or an address to write to?
We're currently staying at this hotel for the next couple days. I will when we end up finding another place to stay, I will give you another number just in case.
I appreciate
I won't
that.
lie. I totally was trying to push that roll. You know, I'm
Oh,
trying
yeah,
to try a
we-
little bit. But continue. It's fine.
Trust me. We can work our way around a failed check.
Yeah, we can work our way.
It's failing forward, not just failing.
Have you made any other? I mean, it sounds like you were pretty close with Mr. Hammer. Do you know what he was looking into? Do you have anything that we could potentially use to triangulate other information in the library?
I guess I'll pull out that paper of that sketch I made of the symbol that was on his forehead, but I won't say that. I'll just say something that has to deal with this symbol.
Oh, interesting. Yes, that would. Okay. Do you have any other? So this would be connected with African cults in some way. Do you have any other information on it, or anything else to help guide us, or is this going to be a roll up our sleeves and get to work?
I guess just roll up our sleeves and try and get to work, because I'm not going to bring up the whole. This was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally wasn't even like I saw that.
I'm not going to do what I did with the previous. With
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go and say, yeah, this is apparently they are found on the bodies of their victims. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah. And definitely not going to bring up the fact.
Just trying to figure out where this symbol came from, and he has a suspicion that it's from here or from that region.
Then
And the fact that it has something to do with the disappearance of your mother and father, because that then it wouldn't be an academic exploration into something. It's looking for a lead, and that kind of stuff gets bogged down. And also, that is entirely up to your character to bring up. Nobody else's place to bring that up. But yes. I guess library checks all around.
You're working with a librarian.
Yeah.
So it's going to be more a question of are you willing to, like, some of you can wander off and get lunch or something, but are you willing to work with her pretty much all day? Going through piles and piles of books and...
Well, it's been a while since I've actually decided to sit down and look through a bunch of books. Why not start it again?
Okay. Then, some hours later, it is going to get to the point where, you have to get up and stretch your legs every so often. Your back is going to start really aching. It's going to be hours and hours of work.
Don't mean to cut you off.
Does Andrew keep cutting out for anyone else?
Yeah, he started doing that as soon as.
Oh my god! I thought it was just me.
No,
No,
I
it's
wanted
been
to say
happening to
something, but I haven't
everybody.
found a-
I was just about to reset. I was just about to reset my audio.
Thank you for bringing it up. Is it still happening?
Not that I'm noticing.
Not right this second.
Okay. If it does, don't hesitate to let me know again.
I think it's just Discord.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Discord shit in the bed. That's what's happening.
I'm gonna turn off the background sounds because they're not really. It's just library noises.
Yeah.
So they might be getting in the way.
Yeah.
But she will spend the day working with you through sore legs and sore backs and piles of books. And at the end of the day, she will have found, by cross-referencing a few different books, this is a symbol related to the cult of the Bloody Tongue. It is a cult known in Africa.
Yep, you cut out again.
Okay.
We got symbol related to dead silence. It's a cult in.
I'm going to disconnect and reconnect to Discord.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, good lord.
It is the cult of the Bloody Tongue.
Ooh.
It is a cult known in Kenya. Practitioners are known to carve this symbol on the bodies of human sacrificial victims. You find that they wear ceremonial garb. The priests wear a mask that is decorated with a mummified human tongue. They will wear robes that are sort of a shawl made of shimmering color from feathers of different birds native to the area.
Do they wear any kind of like, best way I can think of to go and describe it, kind of like a piece of cloth or like that kind of just hangs over their head and then kind of drips down in front of their face? Most likely like a color red.
Yeah, when you start putting those blocks together, you realize there's a good chance that represents a tongue. And that what you're seeing is the less senior member's version of that same mask. You will also find that now the books don't take this as actual facts, but they say that both practitioners and people who are afraid of them believe that they can create Kimba, which is a sort of zombie guardian, a reanimated corpse with which obey their commands long after death. You see Ms. Atwright. She's less disturbed by this than you might expect, but then you realize she's been working with Mr. Hammer for a number of years, and yeah.
The zombie thing doesn't have anything to do with the symbol carved in the forehead, does it?
Well,
no, that was already brought up.
Yeah, it says that the symbol is carved into the zombies.
It's
whether that's what you're supposed to reanimate them or not, There's nothing there. It is also
Why
just
do-
carved into their sacrificial victims.
I was about to say, why do I feel like that there has to be a full-blown ritual for it in order to actually work? That the carving isn't just what makes it work. It has to be like they have to do something after they do the carving in order to make it work.
In most societies, it's a kind of drug or something. However,
This is Cthulhu.
Cthulhu mythos, and also we don't know what all they got done before we got there. And also, we didn't go to the funeral.
Yeah.
And it was an open casket. I can tell you that much. That wasn't in character too, because that was beyond disrespectful.
Oh boy.
Did they say how? Does it have to be the one that carves it that they obey the commands of? Or is it just the
Bless
cult
you.
itself?
Yeah, it doesn't get that specific about it. It is not an insider's perspective. It is a what people around them believe, what people who are afraid of the cult believe.
Okay. Just gonna say this outside of character. I swear I don't want to see my parents zombified come after us. Please.
Can't just say that in front of the GM without him like.
I'm calling it right now. I don't want to see. I don't want that to be the
Okay,
case.
is this a use of a safe word?
No, that's fair.
Yeah, you don't have to.
I
You don't
just-
even
I
have to
just
say it out
thought
loud
about
right
that,
now.
like-
You can, if there's a thing that you definitely don't want to have happen in the game, you can text me and I'll make sure it doesn't happen.
I mean, no, it would be funny, but I'm just saying it's also funny if I called it like that's actually what happened later down the line. Because all you're gonna hear me say is I called it.
The remainder of the information, there is something about a Chakota, a spirit of many faces. It's some sort of spirit subservient to the god of the bloody tongue. It's supposed to be composed of victims, but what that means isn't really clear. And the rituals are supposedly focused around the I think it's the new moon. So, at the conclusion of all of this, Ms. Atwright will tell you, well, I don't know for sure if this is what Mr. Hammer was looking for, but that's quite... Do you think this helps with your investigations, with your inquiries?
This
Absolutely does.
definitely helps. It gives us a better idea of what he was actually looking for and what he kind of possibly got himself into.
I'm just gonna nod, even though I was like cried last time we brought it up. I'm just like, yeah. I guess this helps.
Well, it's been a few hours, so.
Well, it is going to be somewhere around 8 to 10 hours later. Like, this is a real painstaking, going through lots and lots and lots of books.
I feel like after going through all those books, I just kind of want to just pick up a book just to read something else at the moment.
That seems fair. It is going to be, the library is going to be closing soon, but she's still sitting here, making small talk with all of you.
Has she done anything about like asking about the person who checked it out last, or did we
Yeah,
do we
that
think we
probably
found
happened
the
later.
information that we were seeking?
Uh,
No, we definitely found information, at least about what we're dealing with, or who's
yeah.
that killed Hammer.
And she had already told you that it's not like somebody took the book out and didn't return it. It was in the stacks and it was stolen.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on. If it was, how many? I have a question. How common is it for books to get stolen around here?
Oh, it doesn't happen.
It
We're
doesn't
very
happen.
careful. Yes, there was. I don't know what happened that day. I swear there was even a strange smell in the building.
Can you describe it for me?
Ah. Her name is in this document more times than I had remembered.
Guys, that means she's important. I'm onto something.
Because it does actually say what the smell is. No, actually she just says there was an unspeakable odor in the collection that day.
Sounds weird. I guess you could say it smells weird as well. Oh.
I'm taking it. I've now fully noticed the time.
Yeah, it's getting pretty late in the evening.
I'm gonna close the book, put it back on the shelf that I found it on.
She will nod
And then,
appreciatively.
Look at the rest of the group and say, should probably get going. And turn back to her and just go and say, thank you so much for helping us.
Of course, it's my job, and I am very happy to help. You have my number if there's anything else that comes up.
Yes. Which I'll probably end up, if any of them have questions, I'll give them the numbers so they can also call.
Then, I hope you all have a nice evening. Good luck in your studies.
Thank you.
kind of weird that there was an order here, right, guys? Like, odd order and like the book going missing, and then it's the same one that Andrew was looking, or not Andrew. What was his name?
Hammer.
Jonathan Hammer. I don't know why I said same
It's
one
alright.
that he was looking for. Maybe we should look for any activity of this cult here. Granted, that would be too hard to find. But they have some influence here that's... Or somehow they can reach out here. So they have to have influence.
As you all head out this evening, could you all make a... Could somebody make a spot hidden check for me?
Who's feeling confident?
I am.
Oh, damn.
All right. All right.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, you are thinking about the fact that the rituals are supposed to line up with the dark of the moon. As you step out into the night, and you're looking at the sky, and you realize that the next time that's going to happen is actually tomorrow evening. And with that realization, I think that's a good time to call it for tonight. Let you all ponder for a moment. So it was a short one, but I feel like you did a fair bit of investigation here. Good job, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody have anything they want to say before we just say goodnight?
Return of Hammer.
Sometimes dice be nice, sometimes dice be not.
Remember to donate to charity. There's a lot of bad stuff happening in the world right now. Try not to doom scroll.
Yay!
That's impossible.
Oh, it's possible. You just have to get over feeling guilty about not doing it.
There it is. That's the advice.
All right. Good luck with that, everybody, and have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.